Welcome to this week's episode of the first season of the Black Music Collective podcast. If you have been tuning in by now, you know that the Recording Academy and Ebony joined forces to celebrate Black music with a new dynamic 6-episode podcast series, Black Music Collective. This season, the podcast has brought you some of the top creators and business leaders in Black music, including Deborah Lee, Jeff Halston, Jimmy Jam, and Terry Lewis, and more. And if you haven't listened to the previous episodes, make sure you check them out. I am your host, MC Lyte, and joining us today is Ledisi. Born in New Orleans and raised in Oakland, California, Ledisi has wowed fans with her unparalleled vocals ever since she burst onto the scene. She has truly earned a place in the pantheon of this greatest singers of all the generations. Ledisi is a favorite of the Obamas and a long list of icons, including the late Prince, Patti LaBelle, Smokey Robinson, Stevie Wonder, Chaka Khan, me, and so many more. She has headlined 2 nationally sold-out tours. She is also no stranger to the film and television world. Since arriving on the scene in the late 1990s, she's garnered 3 Soul Train Music Awards, an NAACP Theater Award, and 6 NAACP Image Award nominations. Most recently, Ledisi received 2 LA Alliance Ovation Award nominations, one for Best Featured Actress in a Musical. And this year, Ledisi earned her first GRAMMY Award for Best Traditional R&B Performance for her hit song, Anything for You, and was elected president of the Recording Academy of Los Angeles chapter. Now, please welcome Ledisi. It is so beautiful to see you today. I want to ask, how are you doing? But girl, are you getting rest?
It's that part, the rest part. We're working on it. You know, how are you? You look great.
Thank you.
At BT, it was great to see you honoring your sister, you know, with your sisters. It was beautiful. We were inspired. I was inspired.
You. Well, we had a wonderful time. But you know what? I'm not going to even trick the listeners or the viewers into thinking that you and I are not sisters and that we don't talk, because we do.
Every time I call you for everything.
Yes, and anytime I call you, you show up, right? For, you know, foundation work and just great sisterly talk. So thank you so much. Let's get that out of the way so they'll understand why we're talking with such ease. Ledisi, you began performing at a very early age. And by the time you were 8, you were performing with the New Orleans Symphony Orchestra. By the way, am I saying New Orleans right? You know,
that works.
Okay, good. So can you talk to us about how you got started?
Well, you know, our parents, for me, my parents were my first mentors, my first Michael Jackson or, you know, Tina Turner or whomever I admire my mother is my first. So she is the one I wanted to emulate, sound like, put my hand on my hip for my pictures, like, did everything she did, I wanted to do. So how I got started was emulating my mother, and at home, everything for me started at home. My stepdad played drums. We were in New Orleans. They had their own band. They would rehearse and record to an 8-track in a shotgun house. The band would be there. And that's in the living room was all instruments, upright piano, a bass and a bass amp, drums, full set of drums, and music all the time. Sad, happy, blessed, coming home, there was music. Like it never ended all the way till 3 a.m. I lived with parents who were performers. So that's how I got started singing at home. My mom saw that I can sing and nurtured my gift. She didn't force anything, just got me in programs that were donated. People donated money, you know, free programs that weren't free. It was where people donated money. And that's how I learned about advocacy, is through that kind of form of giving. And just loved opera. That was my thing in the beginning. Loved R&B music, loved country. Mom listened to country. She loved Patsy Cline and Willie Nelson, and then she would sing opera with Leontine. Then it'd be it depended on her mood, you know, because she told Nina to Aretha, just all over the place. But stepdad always listened to funk music. So New Orleans, a jambalaya of things. In school, you're learning jazz, but outside of that, I had all this rainbow of music.
Right. You know what's so crazy is that kind of leads up into the next question. You know, so often in music, people try to put you in a box of what is acceptable from you. And usually the way you come out is the way that they want to just stick you up on a wall like a painting and that be it. But because you're an independent artist for most of your time, you're able to do what it is that you want to do. So do you feel like because you're independent that it keeps pushing the limits and doing it your way is what has really made it successful for you?
Well, you know, I started as an independent artist. I was with a major label for almost 12 years with Verve, Universal. And then I became independent again. Now I'm running my own label again with distribution from BMG. So I think independent attitude has always been there. It's never going to go away. I came in, look, don't tell me how to create. You know, I know my audience. I know me. Let me be happy. You can choose the singles, you can do whatever, but let me create just how I am. And it was frustrating for some, but I've always held that part. But I never not listened. Like, what do people want to hear?
Right.
What sells records? What doesn't? I've always listened, but I've always been authentic. And that's the part. Whether you're signed to a label or not, always be authentic and transparent. That is what has kept me being the artist that I am. Why I do what my way and things my way.
I'm sorry. I just feel like you have my list of questions because you're making it so easy to just go right into the next. It's been over 2 decades for you. Yeah. And it is no easy feat for, artists to stay in the game. So what do you think outside, because listening is extremely important. Outside of the things that you've just stated, what do you think is the cause of your longevity?
I can sing.
Yes, you can.
Like, you can do what you do, which is multiple things. For me, I can sing. I have to own that. If you don't own it, who else will? Right. And I didn't know I was influencing people too. That's what I'm learning now in my career. I'm a huge influence on a lot of young folk. I didn't know. I'm thinking I'm doing my work and just trying to say Ledisi at every stage. If Ledisi wanted to dance, Ledisi did that. If Ledisi wanted to just sing pure ballads, Ledisi did that. If Ledisi wanted to collaborate, she did that. Like, she does if Ledisi wants to now do Nina Simone tribute, Ledisi does that. Like, I'm not doing anything outside of my character ever. It's always who I am. The makeup of me is not one thing, but I'm glad you like me in that box for you. But I'm supposed to be everywhere because I can sing. This is my gift. This is my calling. And I think people, when they think, own who you are. And that makes it even more, people love that. They love when you own who you are and don't care too much about what other people think. I listen for learning things, but I don't listen for people to create who they want me to be. That's exhausting. If I'm not true to myself, it's not worth it. And that's the part. I've always carried that line all the way through. My mother taught me that. It's the audacity of New Orleans, just to be everywhere. It's not a thing, just New Orleans in a place. It's everywhere I go. Oakland too. Oakland are the worst critics ever. If you can get them, if you can get the Bay Area, you can get the world. Same with New Orleans. It's just the small town people don't play. They're like,
you know what I love? I mean, you're saying so much that's so important. And I can imagine for those who are new to this, who are listening in, that they're picking up some gems and some jewels of how to remain authentic and why it's so important that they do so, and remaining transparent, but yet having an ear. So not closing your world off, but just knowing where you are, knowing where the foundation starts. I'm so happy to talk to you today. P&G sponsored this series, and they did so because of the importance to them on focusing on Black creatives. They have recently started a new program that aims to broaden the way Black people are portrayed in advertising, entertainment, through an increased investment in Black directors, actors, crews, and media. Let's take a moment to take a look at this clip.
Next. Ask yourself why. These are the Black stories we've been shown. A narrow view that limits our understanding. But there's so much more to see. Of Black life. Let's widen the screen so we can widen our view.
Every time I see that, it brings chills all over my body.
And accurate.
Yes, absolutely. And someone who's as versatile with your skills as a singer, songwriter, music producer, author, playwright, film producer, and now CEO of her record label, Listen Back Entertainment, BMG, and president of the Los Angeles chapter of the Recording Academy. You are definitely widening the screen. What advice would you give to young people who want to follow in your footsteps, particularly young girls?
Use the people that you look up to. They're a map for you. You have your own way. Your journey is going to be different from theirs, but find the similarities and how to be, learn from them. Like I would read the legends, like what were their downfalls? What were their biggest triumphs? And what did they long for? I was interested in those things by studying. And the only way to do that is study, but also find your own voice. We had Nina, but now I can interpret it my way. Or we had Aretha and someone else interpret Aretha a certain way, but we really want you. So just be yourself and study the greats, but find your own voice. And that's what's beautiful about everyone that does, any creator. It's like you get to be your own self. You get to be you. And that's the part we forget. Don't chase anything. Learn, and enjoy the journey, high or low. That's what God was teaching me. The journey is what it's all about for me. Stuff didn't come right away for me because I had to learn. I'm so glad it didn't rush, because I would have missed all the conversations that I had with the greats, to be in the background, to sit with them and talk and have lessons, and I get it now. I'm supposed to learn as I go along. So enjoy the journey and find your own voice while you're studying the greats. Study. It's not easy. The hard way is not easy, but it makes you so much better. Your stature, everything about you becomes another thing. I'm so grateful when they say it's your time. Your time will come. It'll be your time. It'll be your time. Yeah. It really is true.
Well, and time is so related to truth.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So if I auditioned for the role and I didn't get it, it wasn't my time.
Absolutely.
Because I wasn't ready, or nor was that role ready for me. Right. So you could just bring your best self to it. And then there's so many other varying obstacles or variances that come into play as to whether or not you get it.
That's why I love acting now. It teaches you that, to back away.
Yeah.
Just do the part your best and back away. And if it's yours, it'll come.
That's right. Yeah. You just got to give it your best and submit and walk.
Move away.
So I was going to ask you, I'm going to go a little off book right now. Who are maybe, 2 or 3 musicians and or otherwise that have influenced you, that you were able to talk to and get some sort of a key? They may have gave you a key to another opening or door or walkway or whatever that you hadn't had before.
Prince was a huge influence on me. I was able to talk to him, and he taught me about your mistakes, learning from them and letting them happen. The goal when you're younger is to be perfect. And that's just not going to happen. He loved the mistakes, because it made you more adventurous. And so I would always mess up and, just get frustrated. And he would say, no, just keep going. Through the mistakes, keep going. Because I love your mistakes. They're not really mistakes. They're incredible. And Patti LaBelle, always in my ear. I mean, once she grabs you, she holds on. A big, huge influence for me. She would just say, there'll be people intimidated by you, but just be yourself, no matter what. Don't hide your shine, basically. Even in front of me, she would say, come on. And I would go, you're Miss Patti. She would say, I don't want to hear none of that. Be yourself, even in front of me, even in front of the crowd. Don't hide your shine. And
can you imagine?
Walk in. Like my mother is a huge, and she's the biggest one for me. Your Ledisi, that name means something. You're of greatness. Walk in like you belong, even when they don't want you there. You belong there. And that has been a thing I carry with me, that audacity to be. Yes. Hi, how are you?
Yes, I'm here. I love it.
You do that naturally. That's what I love. You've been one of my huge heroes, because that's what you do. Yes. And what are we doing?
Right. Somebody told me to be here.
Okay.
So outside of creating music and performing, I know you're a member of the Recording Academy's Black Music Collective, and whose main focus is to amplify and elevate Black music creators in the community and in the industry overall. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, and what type of work is put into the collective?
Well, I see a lot of our faces, a lot of Black faces that are a combination of other faces too. It's not just all Black, but it is a combination of us. And I love that we just, what we're doing is making sure our voices are heard, diversifying settings, and amplifying our voices, whether it be songwriting or engineering or anything that has to do with music, not just as artists, but everyone, producers. And I love that Jerry L and Felicia and everyone there is just doing a great job making sure those conversations are had. And if we see an area that needs work, we work on it. but we do it as a collective. It's not just one person leading. It's all of us making sure we're all heard to make decisions together. It's our creators all together, Black voices, making sure we're everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's a life mission being involved with the Academy, because you understand how much it is that they do for the artist, for the musician, you know, and trying to, you know, just educate the people on what that really means.
Exactly. And, you know, I called you before I even started to, you know, after I got the position, I called you. And when I came into the Recording Academy in the LA chapter, you were my president. So it's like, that's 11 years ago or so. But still, you made a great impact that people remember, because when I talk to others, they're like, yeah, MC Lyte told us. I'm like, that's who I'm looking at, you know, and we need to always be educated because it keeps changing. It's not the same industry as it was long ago. It keeps changing. And I love the changes that we're making, but we also have to take some of the stuff that we learned from the past and include it to now as well.
Right. Absolutely. Well, last year you wrote an op-ed for
Oh, Lord. Yes.
Wait, why that reaction?
No, I love that op-ed. It was my favorite. I didn't know you were going to bring it up. I'm so excited.
It says here you reflected on the challenges of being Black in the music business and in the industry on a whole, and how soul music is the best salve for young and old, and why going independent the second time around has turned out to be the best decision of your career. Can you speak about the piece that you wrote and what made you speak about it in that way?
Well, when I was asked to write about it, it was they were asking for transparency. And I wasn't always the chosen. You can have great talent all day long, but if you don't have a look in our industry of R&B, it's like, or pop or any kind of music, it's always the first thing. And I'm like, what about the talent? You know? Shouldn't the talent be just as in the front as anything else? And I've never let up, never. And so I changed. Yes, image wise, I get it. It's a business. People clothing and fashion, and they love that part of our storytelling. I get it now, but I didn't get it when I started. But it always goes back to talent. When you can't see me and all you can do is hear me, that's what I want you to get. And what am I trying to say storytelling wise? Also, Black music, it's like we've created a lot of these other genres that people act like we're not a part of. You know what I mean? Please stop it. Like, I love the latest issue of Billboard with all the country people on there, and Mickey's on there. Her voice is being heard as a Black woman right there in the front. It's not a new thing. Do you know what I mean? She's always, her version of her has always been there, but just not amplified. So, but I'm happy about it. But please stop acting like we're not a part of all these genres. That's why I'm a little rebellish. I go over into jazz, or I go over to gospel and visit, or bring my gospel friend over into R&B, whatever. Stop putting us in your box.
Yeah.
We have to sell it. So, but yes, being an independent artist has let me be a creative where I can put out 3. I put out, by July 23rd, I will have put out 3 projects. And it hasn't been a year since I started my label. Wow. That's my freedom. I put out a live album when no one is doing it, when we're still inside. I brought the show to my people. I didn't wait. You know what I mean? Here's my show, so you can listen to me until we see each other again. Here's the wild card, which is blues and R&B and everything New Orleans that feels good for me. And here is Nina. Ledisi Sings Nina. These are projects I've been sitting on in my computer for over 8 years. So I was like, let me put this stuff out and do it now, you know, while I'm waiting for what to do. Do I be with a label again, or do I do it independently? I put it out. And I got my first #1 on my own label. I had my first Grammy on my own label.
Woo.
Yeah, it's been the best thing that's happened to me.
Yes.
I mean, it's working for me. And I don't know if it's selling records. I can't tell yet because we've been inside. But I know when I do this tour, it'll help.
When they show up. Yeah. Yeah. When they show up. Because I've been blessed to be in the audience of a few of your shows. And you do bring the house down and the people show up and they show up singing. So I'm sure that during this time of rest, they have gotten to know the lyrics of the new works.
That part.
And they will come singing. I'm so sure of it. So when you come to Los Angeles, I just need to be,
well,
first five. I'll take first 5 rows. You said what?
I'm doing the Hollywood Bowl.
Oh my God. That's my favorite venue.
Yes, I'm doing the Nina album there with the LA Philharmonic. So looking forward to it.
What is the date? Do we know yet?
It's July 24th, and the album comes out July 23rd. So they all go together.
That sounds like it's sold out already. Wait a minute. That's too
there. It's getting there.
No, I want a box. Wait, July 24th.
July 24th at the LA Hollywood Bowl with the LA Philharmonic. Ledisi sings Nina. I'm looking forward to it. Thomas Wilkins, the conductor's just absolutely fun and amazing. And he was making sure, what I love about him is he's like, we still have to tell your story within her story.
Okay.
He was like, that's great that you're singing her music, but there's a reason you're singing it.
Right.
Something about your story that adds to that. So we have to, and I didn't ask for that.
Right.
He was like, you have to have it. And I love that he gets it. He just gets it. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of orchestra gigs and it's been amazing doing them. We're also going to be in San Diego in August, Thomas Wilkins and I with the San Diego Symphony. So I'm looking for it. Like, the part you get to see the classical part that my mom, embedded in me and I learned and studied. You get to see all the other parts of me, not just R&B and the blues, but you get to see the studying.
Let me tell you, this is going to be, that is my favorite venue. And to see you live doing the Nina project out under the stars is where I need to be on July 24th. Okay, so I got to work on that. So you are extremely passionate about being an advocate for the arts, lobbying for young musicians and protecting the rights of creatives. Why is this important to you?
Because I remember my parents not having ownership. I remember their music being stolen. I remember, like I said earlier, all the programs that were funded by donations, people giving. I remember just the laws being changed and the legends would go advocate for us. And then that law would change. So for me, my first time lobbying, I was blown away. So this is what we have to do. Let them know there are people behind these numbers. Oh, okay. So let me be part of that. And so, and then the kids watching just one little program of me carrying instruments as a teacher in the 90s. I would carry instruments and I had enough budget just to get enough for 30 students, bring them to the class and teach them how to play instruments and have fun. That program was funded by donations. So I learned how it all worked and I had the privilege of having those programs. So it just, there's another Ledisi, there's another Lyte out there, there's another producer out there that'll be inspired by our works, just by me talking to a senator to make a law change. And look at COVID. Like all we had to live off of was our songs and our royalties. So we're not performing, but that's not enough money. But people think because, oh, that's enough. No, there's a reason we're on the road all the time.
Right. I mean, not simply because you enjoy it, but the living has to happen. Right.
I absolutely enjoy it. And I meet more senators. I'm giving. Being of service is the best gift that's ever given me on the inside as a human being, whether it be for the arts for anyone, but the arts in particular. but we also have to live. We have families. We have college tuitions to pay for. I mean, it's a lot connected to those numbers, and we appreciate our audience, but it's just we deserve our legacy to be taken care of as well.
Absolutely, we do. You have accomplished so much in your career, Ledisi, and when you speak of women in entertainment, you are definitely part of that conversation. Ledisi, when it is all said and done, and you look back at this wonderful career that you've had, what do you want your legacy to be?
You know, so when you say that, I'm like, there's still more work to do. It's so hard to answer it because I don't feel like I'm a part of the conversation enough, but I'm still feeling like there's more to do. But if we had to right now, I would say, gosh, I hope people knew that I sang my face off. And I was the most generous singer and artist that they've ever met. When they met me, I did what I said I was going to do. I hope. That's the hope. But all I care about really is what my mom thinks. I'm going to be honest with you. That's the part, my family and my mom is so important to me more than all this other stuff. Because I know I left behind, if that was it, I left a great legacy of music. But how my mother thinks of that, that's the part.
Oh, now that is wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. I'd like to thank my guest, Ledisi, for sharing her journey with us today. Again, this is the Black Music Collective podcast. And show up at the Hollywood Bowl if you can on the 24th. And in August, she'll be in San Diego. And I'm sure so many more dates to come.
Yes, come see me.
Yes. This is the Black Music Collective podcast. Stay tuned for our next episode.